Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome to Maud's Book Club. We are doing the Stormlight Archive. Great books. Bloody long. So we've split it up into 3 streams over the course of July. We are going to be doing... Pull on the calendar. One moment, please. Why is that my hold of your thought voice? That's frightening. Calendar. Tim! KP! Tate! It's all coming in right now. What are we trying to do? Get a hype train? Is that what's happening? Choo-choo? And you all literally did it. Lisa 10 minutes ago resubscribed for 54 months. Kat resubscribed 56 months total, 54 in a row. Lisa, you gifted a sub to Andrew? 9111991? What was that about? Is it a random one?
Because I was... No, yeah, it was random because I'm like, this would be the only time I'll ever have first place. So
you did.
I had to get it in there before everybody else.
How long did you get a single minute before he took that from you?
Literally like 30 seconds, probably.
Was it a magical 30 seconds?
Yes, I felt great.
Okay, I
You
love that.
screenshot it.
I love that for you. You got in. Ed the Elbonian gifted 5 subs. Jeff M got 1, so did Control Denied, DSB. Occult Stool, you got 1. And Broken Weeble. And then Catch22 just came in and went, hold my beer. Making sure that he's on the throne for the number 1. And that'd be 22 gift subs because it's Catch22. And there, I'm going to start reading some of them out. Brolbaticus Maximus. Gosh, I haven't said that username in a second. I don't know if you're in here, but it's been a long time. I hope you're well. Havel, Orbis, Me Flames, Down Under Dwarf. Are you a short Australian? Is that what that username is all about? Are you a short Is there even a thing? Oh no, there were shorties in Australia. I remember there's this girl in my high school. She never hit 5 foot. Love that for her. Broken Weeble already says hi. Occult Stool's already saying thank you. Loving all of that. Erd saw the badge. He had the badge for 4 seconds as well. Kurt got 1. Quejibo, Libero, Amaya's Otso, Pear Trees, Canada Boy, JD, Almond Skies, Atreyu. Why you gotta fucking do that? Why? Minding my business. Reading out. Why would anyone gift you a sub if we have to have a generational millennial trauma every time?
He was just horsing around.
Colleen, you're 410? This whole time? You've always...
I shrank an inch, or 3/4 of an inch.
So you've never been 5 feet tall?
I was closer to 4'11", now I'm 4'10".
That's very short. I'm a foot taller than you.
My granddaughter never lets me forget it.
Okay.
She has endless short jokes.
I guess I never thought about it. I guess I've never pieced it together. You've only ever been sitting down. Vaden, you met her in person.
Oh, yeah.
Is it, like, scary?
No.
Okay.
It's normal. it's just, yeah, she's
Were you like, whoa, like...
No, I think she actually mentioned before, because I'm pretty sure I knew. I'm pretty sure she mentioned before at some point.
Does she sneak up on you? Like, she got, like, +10 stealth?
Yeah. Well, I won't say backstab, but otherwise I'm fine. Okay,
sorry, I digress. Avery says, my grandma is 4'11" too. We all make fun of her for being short. Is it a rite of passage? Colleen, are you just like, is it par for the course? Are you just expecting it at this stage? Or are you like, screw you, Maud, and your giantess?
No, definitely. It's just, I mean, I've been like this for a long time now.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
it's almost disappointing if my granddaughter goes without pointing it out or saying something.
What I'm hearing is that you're giving me a quota.
No, it's whatever.
Okay, I'll behave myself. Spam, Lajo, Travens, Section, Xenax, Anime Girl, ZX Style, Zab, and Kate's Creation Shop. You all got gifted a sub. Thanks to Catch22. I'm still going because KP's still going. Tate the Aussie actually resubbed for 36 months in a row. And KP, you resubbed for 64! If we're doing millennial memes, I've still got a tear in my eye over the Atreyu one, but 64! KP, you gifted subs to Style, Joe, Silly Patty, May, Ozysterics, and Otto Guts. If you guys got gifted a sub, make sure you say thank you. Hey, Alicia. I'm so sorry your little one's sick today. I hope they're feeling better soon. You know kids, though. They come home with a new thing every day. JD said thank you, which is really sweet. Pianki just said lol. I'm glad you're having fun. For Dan. Sorry. Lisa says, I used to be called that back in elementary school. What did you used to get called?
A gnome, like David and the Gnomes, that little cartoon that back in the day. Because I was very short in elementary school. All my friends were taller than me, but they all just grew faster. And then I passed them all up.
That was me. I was on par with all the girls who hit puberty earlier. And then I was like, but how come you look like that? And, oh, okay. Just kept going. We've got an action-packed, stacked hour to talk about Wind and Truth. There's a lot here. I have notes. I will be reading from a document so that nothing slips through the cracks because there's a lot happening. Also, thanks for the hype train, everyone. That's real cute. That's real cute. Do I have TikTok up? I do. We got a couple people commenting and sending hearts and flowers and peaches. And Captain Heather is here saying, hi, Maud. Hi, all. Oh, my God. Love Wind and Truth. Such a good book. We will be talking about, oh, hi, Dennis. I'm going to meet you next week at Lit RPG Con. How exciting. I really have to figure out how to not make that wiggle about. Glue. Yes. Glue. Whoa. Jay says, I had a buddy grow from 5'8" to 6'4" over a summer break between the first and second year of college. He was in bed with growing pains all summer. That is so much growth in such a short amount of time. Whoa. What's happening to me? That's crazy. Thank you, Dan. Oh, God, new mic. Thank you, Dennis. Hello, Billy. Lovely to see you in here as well. I'm getting so distracted. Listen, is it here? Of course it's not. That would have been smart. Give me a sec. I'm giving away a copy of Platform Decay, Martha Wells. All you had to do was, and apparently it's too hard for some people, but you had to go into the Discord, scroll down until you found the Murderbot channel, and just write Murderbot is the best because, and then fill in the blanks. I have everyone who entered in a spin the wheel. If you want to enter very last minute, like Kakahu did, jump in the Discord right now, scroll down until you see Murderbot Diaries. There should be, like, honestly, a red notification there. I have drawn so much attention to this sneaky little channel. Jump in there. Vaden's doing it. Okay, I see Vaden typing. So unless you're psyching me out, Vaden. Oh my God, could you just not? Could you just? Robin's in there now. Okay, wow, now it's on. I'm gonna put Stargirl though. I'm gonna cut it off very soon though. KP says, also Murderbot's so good, just read it. This is book 8 in the Murderbot series. We have done all previous books for Murderbot, but as you can see, they're real tiny, so you can fly through this really quickly. Actually, in our pre-show, we were talking about long books versus short books, how there's some right and wrong answers in both different categories. If you do want to fly through and add a lot of books onto your reading goal, I definitely recommend Murderbot for that. Okay, cool. I'm Entries closed. I'm going to spin the wheel. And look at this. Oh, no, that's not it. What did I do? What did I do wrong? How did I do that? What are you? Oh, I see. I think. If I put that there. A wheel! Yay! As you can see, it just says click to spin the wheel. Everyone's name's in there that entered. Super cute. Wait, 3 more people are now entering when I say entries closed. You'll find out. Maybe I'll be nice and let you quickly enter if you get a good entry in. KJ says, I'm reading Sun Eater Book 3 right now. How is everyone? Oh. I already have the book. I'm cool with more entries. Quick! Catch! Buy a lot of duct tape to hold him mic steady. God damn it. Thank you so much for that incredible donation, but please stop it. Please stop it. Pianki says it's people jumping in from the stream, I see. Captain Heather says, I missed it, but Murderbot is awesome just because. Alrighty, Captain Heather's in. Captain Heather. Because I'm nice. Alrighty, are we ready? Yes, we are. I'm going to spin the wheel. Let's see who wins. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's a... You're kidding. Oh, KP, it just went to you. It was going to be Captain Heather. It was so close. Now, do you have the physical copy of this book already?
I do. Spin it again.
You want me to spin it again?
Perfect.
We're removing KP. That's very sweet of you. We're spinning the wheel again. I can also see if there's another book from my collection that you might want. Katie Brush, you won. Katie, do you have the book?
I don't have the book.
You do?
I'm so excited.
Now, Katie is the winner of that book. I'm going to write in it so that you can see me in real time, writing in pink pen. Congrats, Katie. Yay! Thank you. Katie, make sure you say thank you, KP, for your sloppy seconds.
Reward?
There you go. Now, KP, I'll offline with you in the members chat to see if there's like another book that I have a double up of to see if you would like that instead, okay? Because you won fair and square, and that's how this works. You know me. I'm all fair. I'm fair. Okay. All right, cool. Let's get stuck into Wind and Truth conversation. The first thing that you need to know, this is just part 1 of 3. Darren, thank you for using your Prime. That's 46 months total. Bonks. That's like a long time. That's nearly 4 years. It's just like, what is time, you know? What is this time? Anyway, we will be talking about days 1, 2, and 3 and the interludes. Anything from day 4 and onwards, that is for a stream in the future. I was telling you about the dates that we are doing this. We will be meeting for part 1 tonight, the 2nd. We will be meeting again for the next third of the book. I think it goes until like day 8, and that's going to be the 16th of July, and then we're meeting again on the 30th. So every 2 weeks from this one, okay? Every 2 weeks we will be meeting to talk about a third of the book. All of the information is on the Discord if you look at the schedule. So the first thing that I want to do is, I need more light. Aziz, light. The first thing I want to do is just recap us all right? I'm going to read a lot. Now, because I'm going to be locked in reading, if you have a thought about a particular thing that is brought up, just interrupt me and be like, hey, I want to talk about that. Okay, sound good? Great. Some of our refreshers for book 5. It's totally fine if you don't remember any of this stuff happening. We last read Rhythm of War back in December. So it's been like 8 months. Number 1, there is a contest of champions. At the end of Rhythm of War, Dalinar struck a deal with Odium, a duel of champions to the death 10 days out at Urithiru. If Dalinar's champion wins, then Odium returns to Alethkar, Alethkar and Herdaz, and the war ends. If Odium's champion wins, then Dalinar's soul becomes Odium's immortal general for his ambitions beyond Roshar. So whatever territory each side holds at the end of the deadline, they keep it. The whole book is now a countdown to this particular day. A reminder, and I needed this before I started reading, Taravangian is now Odium. Taravangian, that sneaky F, is Odium. So he's the king of Kharbranth. He of the diagram, which we're still kind of learning about really, this boon/curse that seesaws between intelligence and compassion. He murdered Race, and Race, R-A-Y-S-E, I'm saying it wrong. Rice.
Raise. Like
Raise.
Like raise your hands kind of thing.
Raise. It's wild because I'm listening to these books and I'm looking at the spelling, and I asked for the spelling help in Fable for Dre. I could have had 50 attempts to spell Dre and would not have gotten it the way that it's spelt in the books. Golly. And it's a monosyllabic word. We're just throwing alphabets around. Anyway, he murdered Raise, the original vessel of Odium, with Nightblood at the end of Rhythm of War, and he took up the shard himself. As this book opens, though, nobody knows. Maud didn't even know, she forgot. But no one knows on Team Radiant that Odium has a new vessel, has changed completely. They still think they're playing chess against the same old predictable hatred god. And it's Wit who figures it out, and we'll go into that. Szeth and the Honor Blades. Szeth was truthless, exiled from Shinovar. Szeth, son, Lisa.
Milano.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Bound by his oath stone, forced to assassinate his way across Roshar, wielding Jezrien's honor blade. That's how he had Windrunner powers before the Radiance returned. Nail, who is a herald, who we saw in Edge Dancer, right? That's Nail. Nailed it. Reclaimed that blade after Szeth's death in Words of Radiance. Szeth is now a Skybreaker of the Fourth Ideal, bonded to a Highsprint whose name he doesn't even bloody know yet. He carries Nightblood. This is the sentient, talking, world-eating sword. Who wants to know if you've packed snacks? The other honor blades have historically been guarded in Shinovar's 10 monasteries by the honor bearers, which is coming into play. The heralds are broken, is another thing we need to remember. There are 10 immortals abandoned to the Oath Pack, except for Taln, endured millennia of torture, and had their minds shattered. Ishar, the bondsmith herald, god priest of Tukar, is delusional and squatting in and around Shinovar, which comes into play in Szeth and Kaladin's stories. Jezrien's dead. Moash killed him in Oathbringer with a special dagger that trapped his soul in a gemstone. A reminder, even though Moash is off pages at the moment, he was last blinded by Renarin's light at the end of Rhythm of War. A name you're going to be hearing a lot is Bar-Addo Mishram. I kind of just know Mishram is the one. Some of the onlines call her, isn't it her, him, her, it, they? BAM for its Bar-Addo Mishram. But this is the unmade who connected, it's her. The unmade who connected herself to the singers during the false desolation, granting them forms and void light. The bondsmith, Malishi, trapped her in a flawless type of gemstone called the Heliodor. Heliodor?
Type of mineral.
Which lobotomized the singers into slave form, damaged the Deadeyes and the Spren bonds, and helped trigger the Recreants. Her prison is hidden in the spiritual realm. Mishram is this book's MacGuffin. Great. There's also a lot more of the ghost bloods coming into effect here. Initially, it was just Shallan's story, and now it seems to be getting further and further out. If you do not want to know more about how the ghost bloods have shown up in other Cosmere books that we have read for book club, tune out now. Kelsier is a part of the Ghost Bloods, and that's what Brandon Sando's writing right now. So Kelsier is also known as Thydakar. Thydakar. Super close to Sardaukar, which is the coolest name in, well, one of the coolest names in the Dune series. There's so many freaking cool names in Dune. But anyway, Thydakar. The Rashar branch is run by Mraize and Yatel. Now, I need everyone, because I'm listening to the books, I need everyone to get on board. I think I mentioned it last time with Rhythm of War. Maybe it's a pop quiz. Does anyone know what goes in my head every time I hear Yatel said out loud in my ears in an audiobook? If you don't, I'm going to make everyone think this every time you hear Yatel. Are you ready? When Leia shows up at Jabba's palace and she's wearing the helmet and she goes to rescue Han Solo, who's frozen in carbonite on the wall, she says, Yatel, Yatel. Every fucking time, Yatel, I say out loud, Yatel, Yatel, every time. Desperate to know if Yatel is from that at all, but it's spelt so interestingly as well. Whatever. Mraize and Yatel are basically the Ghost Blood operators. Now, my brain is now thinking that the Ghost Bloods aren't the bad guys. They're just big picture, whereas Shallan's little picture, right? It's cool and interesting to learn about the Ghost Bloods, but because this is Shallan's point of view, they seem really threatening, which is cool. But anyway, the Ghost Bloods are here. Shallan is done being their pawn and has vowed to take them down. Also, a little bit of a recap about Shallan in Rhythm of War. Her formless crisis that she had, where like that darkness was starting to solidify into another personality. That all died down when she accepted her truth that she has two cryptics. Pattern, who we've known from day one, and Testament, who was the spren that she bonded as a child and then broke. So there's another, so both her and Adolin have like a severed spren. What is the terminology for that? Dead eye, yeah. The tower in Urithiru is awake. Navani spoke the bondsmith words, bonded with the sibling. They're tight now. That was tumultuous. Now they're really cool. The tower is thriving. It is fully operational. See, so many stuff. Anyway, maybe I'm due for a Star Wars watch. I don't know. This tower light, though, is charging all the Stormlight, the Spren. It's bringing Maya back as well for Adolin. It's like doing really, really cool, good things. It's a positive. And seeing Navani as a bondsmith as well, I love it. Kaladin's status is something that we're also needing a refresher on. The fourth ideal spoken. The brands were healed. He's retired from active windrunning command. Sigzil now leads all of that, and he's having huge imposter syndrome. Kaladin's a therapist now. It's kind of weird, Kaladin's journey. He's like less warrior, more, therapist. He's pioneering what is essentially Roshar's first mental health practice. Teft at the end of the last book was murdered by Moash during the occupation. And Kaladin is doing okay. Our boy's doing all right. It turns out Zeth is this book's sad boy. Holy hell. So when Kaladin looks at you and you're like, wow, you're messed up, you know you're bad. All right. The last thing is the listeners. Venli, secretly a Radiant, and we knew about that in the last book as well. The first of the new Will Shapers rescued listener survivors, and Leslie's defected heavenly ones slipped away into the chasms of the Shattered Plains at the end of Rhythm of War to build something new apart from both armies, so they're neutral. Okay, did everyone remember all of that? Jimmy's like, no.
Of course. I've got all of them.
Darren's like, yeah, not me. I was like, Taravangians, what now? Totally forgot about that whole epic moment in the hut in front of everyone. That all happened. Taravangians, I mean, it's kind of impressive. He's kind of an impressive guy. But everyone's got their own sets of rules. The listeners have their own separate rules, separate from the heavenly ones who have their own separate rules. Pretty much, Taravangian's got some sort of diagram which no one else is following. Every time, I think it's weird. The listeners are Fremen. Taravangian is 3-body problem, like big time 3-body problem. How have we not figured that out yet? He's like dancing in the game half the time. What else is there? The Windrunners, they're Jedi. Like, there's just bits of everything, but everyone's got their own sets of rules. Do we have any questions going into day 1? Oh, we're going to get stuck into the prologue. How are we feeling about Gavilar? We are still learning about this king. Cool. Messiah complex is what's happening. He wants to be a god. Yes, Darian.
He's an even bigger asshole than I thought from the previous book.
Navani's patience with this man who has just opted out of reality and was like, woman, don't look at me. I'm just going to quietly try to become a god on the side. But it's interesting, like we don't, maybe I do, forget that Gavilar and Dalinar are bros. Cut from the same cloth, different mindset. We had all of Dalinar's backstory unveiled to us in Oathbringer. So we kind of know that Blackthorn had a shady past big time. Oh my God, Captain Heather. I'm just looking at the comments over here. Excellent recap and then douche canoe. I like you, Heather. Yes, Gavilar is really not the person that we ever thought. But I do like the fact that, and new followers coming in, Olifab and MHJ231. Thanks so much for the follows. Welcome to Maud's Book Club. We're doing a Wind and Truth Part 1 recap, which is just days 1, 2, and 3. And I got to get through 3 days in 90 minutes. So that's 30 minutes per day, which still is a sliver of time compared to reading it. Good Lord. Who here didn't get through the reading of all 3 days? Okay, half of you have your hands up. That's fair. I told you.
It doesn't count, though.
That's true. Tim's not even starting it. I had to cancel plans last night.
Last year.
You read it last year. You know what? You're ahead of the game. Darren, you're the same. You've already read it. You're all good. You're coasting. You're getting your gold star extra credit right now, just showing up. We don't have to go heavily into day 3 if people haven't finished that. I don't particularly want to spoil it for you, and we will have 2 weeks to do the next slog chapters. So we can just kind of focus on the prologue day 1 and day 2 and like kind of set up some discussion for day 3. Oh, Heather says, you know what? Dalinar isn't a great dude either. Same as Moash, just different parts of their journey. You, for real, are saying that Dalinar and Moash are 2 sides of the coin. I think, hey, don't talk about daddy like that. That's daddy. That's daddy right there. He has had a growth arc and he's learning and evolving, whereas Moash just chose the course of cunt. Difference. Very different. I haven't dropped that one in a while, but I just felt like the alliteration demanded it. Please don't ping me. Please don't. I forgot that I should have had a YouTube open as well. So, Mauded Book Club. Is it saying Mauded Book Club everywhere? Mauded Book Club. Get Mauded. Yep, it's saying Mauded Book Club everywhere. Fun. Mauded. Just such a fast typer. Katie, I cannot stand Gavilar. Say it with your chest, girl. Let's talk about that. You want to shit on Gav for a sec? Wow, that needs context. Don't clip it.
Yes, so this is a second reread for me.
Do it.
And the first time I read it, I was like, I got it when it first came out. And I knew I hated Gavilar. And I had nobody to talk to after the prologue. And I was like, nobody's this far in the book. I can't talk to anybody because all my coworkers were waiting to read it. And then when rereading it again, I was like, I hate him so much. I can't. How he talks about Navani, his wife, like
I know
that should tell you what kind of person he is.
And like, look at Navani now, thriving, literally blossoming, and
Even Delanar, when he didn't like his wife, he still was positive. He still had positive things to say about her, and just trying to trick the Stormfather is just like,
yeah,
he's a god. Like, no, you can't. You're not all knowing. You're not better.
I feel like the parallels here is that Gavilar spiraled further than we have with Dalinar at the moment. There is a dangled carrot here of godhood, literally becoming godlike. And Gavilar, I feel like, was like, I deserve that. I am king. I deserve it. Dalinar is like, I don't want to be king, but I'll do it. But I don't want to lead, but I can. I feel like, Jimmy, you said that no one in this book has redeeming qualities. I'm going to hard disagree with you. We have seen over the course of 400 million words how much growth a lot of these characters have had. Even Zeth, son Villano, but every time, guys, every time I hear or see Zeth, he should have been labeled as evil because he was just senselessly killing. And now we're kind of unpacking that with him as well. So I feel like there's a lot of shades of grey with these characters. And because we're going back so long, like decades of time, there's a lot that we are discovering as the reader and a lot that they are discovering about themselves, which is why I really like this book, actually. Jay Scott and Stephanie Press, lovely to see you in the comments of YouTube as well. All right, so we had a chat about Gav. Colleen.
I want to say something in Dalinar's defense.
Yeah.
I mean, he did some really terrible things. He was almost possessed when he did it. But then when he tried to kind of make some progress to get over it, Gavilar used him. He deliberately, encouraged him or set him up to get drunk again. He'd remind him of the evil he'd done. And he wanted Dalinar just as a weapon.
Yeah.
He considered him stupid and, didn't see him as worth anything but a weapon.
Yeah, and just thought that if you could take away his humanity by making him drunk, then yeah, he just stays a thing instead of someone. I had another thought about the defense of Dalinar as well. Oh yeah, he was possessed by the thrill a lot of the time. So this is the thing. How much of Blackthorn's behavior can we justify as Dalinar's choice, and how much of it was enabled by the thrill? That's another conversation, right?
Unfortunately, we don't really know, right? Because Slava's memory was locked behind that, like the Night Watcher's deal. So I don't think we really know.
That's right. Moash is now a weapon too, says Heather. Yep. And he has himself shut down his humanity so that he can sharpen himself as a weapon. I feel like that's a choice that Moash, he's just tripled down too hard that he's like, I can't come back from this, so I just have to keep forging ahead as a weapon. Fuck Moash. All right. Day 1. Let's talk about the goodbyes, the ideals, and this talking wind. Hudafa? Who's this wind? What's the wind? What are What do we think that is? Anyway, let's talk about Kaladin's journey. Let's talk about what's going on with Shallan. Let's talk about R'Laine. Oh my God, there's some cute moments in this part, in part 1, especially with Dre and Renarin. I loved it. Kaladin's feeling good. Kaladin loves the fact that he's no longer just a death-wielding, operating, giving machine, but a voice on the wind, literally, which is an ancient power left over from the days of the Adonalsium. What is that?
That's more Cosmere lore. I can tell you, but I don't know if you want me to.
I mean, I love spoilers, but I'm not the voice of the people. We'll figure it out. Anyway, says Kaladin, literally calling him by his name, warning that a storm worse than the Everstorm is coming, and tells him to listen to the bondsmith. Now, here's what's interesting. Which one? There's 2 bondsmiths now. Everyone thinks it's Dalinar because he's a man and he's in charge and he's the king and he's the one making all the orders, but there's room for error there. Also, does anyone feel like every time there's a win, the next thing comes, and so they're constantly like, what now? Or are you feeling that in the books, or is it kind of like the pacing's okay?
I mean, this is okay to me. That seems pretty normal. Like, I think every time something is resolved, there's always a new problem. So
yeah. Dalinar asks Kaladin to escort Szeth to Shinovar on Szeth's side quest to bring his hard-won expertise to 2 broken mines, Szeth's and Ishar's. And then Dalinar's also like, listen, my son doesn't want to be king. No one wants to be king. Gav's 5. If shit goes down, would you want to be heir of the throne? And Kaladin's still too sad to know his worth. Is that fair to say? Me? Why? And it's like, he even justifies this. He's like, oh, I guess I'm a Light Eyes now, aren't I? And it's like, bro, you won shard armor and like, you've earned this so many times and you keep shirking responsibility. I don't think this is Kaladin's I'm scared to fail so I won't try, which is kind of a crippling thing for a lot of men, where it's like, I don't want to be bad at something. I'm so scared of failing that it's not worth trying. I don't think that's that. Why do you think Kaladin is so apprehensive to take leadership, responsibility? Anyone? Rogue Leader, 33 months, says I'm late, but I made it. Welcome. We are on day 1 of the 3 days that we have read for Brandon Sanderson's Wind and Truth. Uzi Jesus is in TikTok, by the way. Uzi Jesus, I got your poster. I should show it. It looks sick. Do you guys want to see the Uzi Jesus poster and the Big Tina poster? Real quick.
yeah.
I'm gonna get them framed. Uzi, this one's for you. You guys see it? Salvation comes fully automatic. How pretty. Wait, I got 2 cameras going here. Now, Joel Daniel Phillips did hand paint this initial picture that has been made into a poster. That's bonks. Dude does clouds like nobody's biz. And then Big Tina in her, forgot the boa, but very, very pretty ballet outfit. And her pretty, pretty wand. Aren't they lovely? Anyway, they're my 2 favorites from the ones that, oh, and they're signed by Matt Denneman. Now, apparently, I'm supposed to be giving one of these to my bestie. I'm tempted to forget. Am I a good friend? I mean, yeah, the intention was there. I started off with good thoughts. But I like them both so much. Anyway, there you go. We were talking about Kaladin not ever wanting leadership. He did a really good job with Bridge 4. And even Syl is now being like, what are you talking about? Like, you got everyone out of like a real bad funk. You've raised an army. You've done so well. It's not the fact that everyone's just killing and maiming all the time. Like, you rescued these people. Syl's so in love with Kaladin. Yes, Colleen?
One of the issues that Kaladin has is the class distinctions.
Yeah.
He has suffered at the hands of the ruling class to the point where he can't quite get past that, and he's not even comfortable being a Light Eyes.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be that.
Yeah, yeah, and he's felt oppression with his smaller community, the larger community, as a Bridge 4 member, which was like, you know, he was war fodder. So yeah, he has an immense amount of justified resentment. Academic. Yeah. That's you.
Oh, that's me?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I love everything that you just said there, Colleen. And then what I really liked about that particular part was Dalinar saying, hey, I know you've been hurt. I acknowledge that. We are aiming to do better.
Yeah.
But this is a two-way street. Like, it can't just be the already existing ruling class doing better. It also requires that people who know and who have been there to also stand up and become part of that ruling class so that you can show what it actually means to be leading out and being a servant, right? And that's exactly sort of what Kaladin's overarching journey is at the very first part of this group.
Yeah, this permission to actually step up and thrive, you know. You are allowed this. You're worthy. We've got the Bridge 4 farewell / celebration. R'hllane bonds to me, which is one of the enlightened mist spren, becoming a truth watcher like Renarin. Cute. Probably my favorite part of this section. Love it. Renarin, who is, I don't think this is out of pocket to say, Renarin is representing autism in a very big way. And there's really beautiful conversations around, I feel like I think differently. I need you to be incredibly transparent. Please don't make assumptions. You have to be so crystal clear with me to understand everything. And then R'hllane, who is literally a different race, whose race has attempted to be eradicated, right? And R'hllane has never felt accepted. And R'hllane brings beautiful conversations to, yeah, you've accepted me, but you haven't accepted what it means for me to be. And it's like, you know, you're not really asking about my culture. You're not really accepting all of me. So I am grateful, but it's still really, really hard to exist with you guys. And so I love, you know, that they both feel not accepted or understood or, you know, a sense of other, and they're kind of bonding over it, which is really cute. Kaladin gets a tattoo over his healed brands. He hands the Windrunners over to Sigils. Yeah, there you go. It's Sigils and it's Sigils. Sigil. There's a lot of stuff about wit with the flute. Can anyone explain that to me? Because that seems like fluff, but I know that there's probably more behind it. Wit's flute. Go. Academic.
You're still muted.
Muted. Still muted. Computer mute.
Book 2 is Radiant. Kaladin is out there being a sad boy. Wit talks to him for the first time and gives him his flute and tells him to learn it. Kaladin continues to be a sad boy, does all the heroic stuff in Words of Radiance. God's not coming, but I'll see if I can do all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. Now we're revisiting the fact that we have this flute, and it's like, hey, I came to you in your vision. That happened in book 4, and we mentioned this thing, and we're bringing it back up. And my profession is that of a world singer, and singing flutes. There's a whole bunch of Cosmere stuff here. But the main thing is, Kaladin has a flute. He's possibly going to learn how to use it, and maybe it's nothing big. Maybe it's just another MacGuffin. So.
Smeckid says, it's just a flute, ... Wink. Okay. Avery saying, hold on, Colleen said, love Renarin and Relaine together. Avery said, Renarin is autistic and gay. Most relatable character ever. Love it. Yeah. Rogue Leader says, I was going to say that Renarin is representing more than autism, but I don't know if that was too far ahead. Oh, we are talking about, and we've read up to day 4. So we've stopped before day 4 has begun. He wants Kaladin to play so that the wind echoes. Okay. All right. Captain Heather says, I love Renarin so much. Yeah, and let me go into the YouTube, even though it's Mauded Book Club. Oh, Stephanie's saying, hey, y'all, I don't have the book yet, but in case I can handle spoilers. Okay. Well, we're going full steam ahead then. Next, we've got... this side mission with Szeth and Kaladin. So I guess the question that I have is, which chapters are you liking the most? Are you liking them with Dalinar? Do you like it when it's Shallan doing Ghostblood stuff? Do you like it the Szeth and Kaladin side quest? Rank them for me. Which ones do you go, ooh, we've got this chapter now, and which one are you like, I got this chapter now? Anyone can unmute as well if you'd like.
Oh, I actually am not disliking anything so far. I like them all.
Great thing.
Yeah, because again, some of the past books are like, all right, it's Shallan for 30 pages. Let's move on. Not this time. Yeah. I'm happy with all of it.
I actually start noticing the genre shift. So you've got Shallan is sleuth, spy, thriller, right? So she's on a mission where she's undercover and she's a spy. Then you've got buddy cop with Kaladin and Szeth. They're doing their buddy cop side mish happening where they're bonding on the road even though they're completely different cops, and they're having discussions and learning about each other, and then they got to go into action because there's a fight happening. Seath says, I hope I'm getting that right, by the way. It looks like Keith with the S. Loving the Kaladin and Szeth interactions. Pianki says, my favorite's Shallan, then it's Dalinar, then it's Kaladin. Pianki, exactly the same for me. I love the Shallan chapters because I love a spy thriller. The Dalinar is good because it's just interesting introspection where he's battling with, holy shit, I'm getting fucked over and the time is ticking and I've got to figure out loopholes. And then something about I think the Kaladin and Szeth stuff is just slightly too repetitive for me at the moment. How many times can we be like, bro, you don't need to beat yourself up. I deserve it. But you shouldn't beat yourself up. But I feel like I deserve it. Yeah, but don't. Well, shut up. Hey, by the way, did you know that you don't actually have to beat yourself up? Okay, yeah, no, you've had it. You haven't made progress. We're doing the same thing. And this is a third round of not getting anywhere with it. So that's my only gripe. But if everyone else is loving those moments together, hell yeah. Like Vaden. Favorites Kaladin and Szeth, and then it's Shallan, and then it's Dalinar.
Yeah, because that's no order, but one of the reasons I like the Szeth and Kaladin stuff is Kaladin has never really gotten over his own, insecurities and his own issues. Mm-hmm. So he's seeing a lot of his own problems in Szeth.
Oh my God, he's projecting like a mofo.
Yeah. Yes.
Hi, I'm you 30 minutes from now. It's that thing where Kaladin's got 6 months of healing ahead of Szeth and now feels like he can sort him out completely. It's cute though. It is cute. Yeah. And it is nice seeing Kaladin really understanding the nuance of mental health. I do dig that. Academic makes a really great point. Are there Adolin chapters? There sure are. There are massive Adolin chapters, and I found myself writing about the Adolin chapters the most in Fable. Something that I noticed was Adolin really struggling, going from top dog in the fighting yard, winning shard armor and blades, knowing how indestructible he was. He was such a force. Oh, Adolin's suiting up. It's going down. And now there are heavenly ones, wind runners, heralds, gods, and people just running circles around him, flying with superpowers. And he's like, well, Maya is able to form full sentences now, which is great. But he's feeling really like less than. People are becoming way more superior than him. And he doesn't want to be king. He could get up in a leadership position so well. The way that he handles battle strategy, the way that he handles political dynamics with emperors and other people in charge, he puts people at ease. He makes others feel better about themselves. He's got such insanely great qualities. And he's like arguably 20% gay, and is so open about wanting to embellish a cloak, because cloaks are hot. Like, he's just got so many layers, which I really love for him. And he got some shower sex. Let's hear it for Shallan and Adolin. Brandon Sanderson nearly writing a naughty scene. He's bringing the Old Spice in the shower, if you know what I'm saying. But we didn't get the goods. That's fine. Us ladies, we've got a list on the side that we can go to should we need. But that's kind of like, we're seeing a real relationship here. Oh my God, when we saw, is it Kalak and what's the other woman, where they were like just lounging naked in their 70s and 80s? What was that moment earlier on? Loved it. I loved the dynamics of so many relationships here. Academic, you better tell me that no one can hear outside those headphones. Whoo! Good. KP, your hand's been up.
Well, I just wanted to mention my thoughts on Adolin. Like, he is acknowledging that he's not top dog, but I didn't feel like it was sulking. It was more like, okay, as a tactician, I have to address the situation.
Yeah.
What can I do? I'm still powerful. I can just have to change how I fight. And I feel like he does. Changes his personal battle attack one-on-one, and changes like the tactics of like the troops around him, and he still does really, really well. Takes out like 8 or 10 of the fused or something like that in that one first battle.
He's brilliant. So, I love it.
Yeah, I was really like, I thought it was really great the way he like showed that he's more than just like the plate. He's actually a good fighter, good leader, good tactician.
And what's really interesting is that he's really not in a good position with his dad. He does not respect Dalinar anymore. And the fact that Dalinar is now drinking the Kool-Aid of becoming a god, and like literally becoming what, like the honor god, basically.
Yeah.
I think that that's going to implode big time. Yeah, KP Dubs in all caps says, yeah, he killed his mum. Yeah. And has now finally found out about it and has a lot of resentment. I'm going to pose something to you guys. Is Dalinar Adolin's dad? Is that his actual father? Do we know for sure? Because Renarin and Adolin look super, super different. I know his mum was blonde and he's got black flecks in his hair. But hasn't Adolin always looked incredibly different? That's his dad. Okay, just checking. There was like a moment there where he just like said something, and the way that it was delivered in the audiobook was just like, that's not my dad. And I was like, what if it's not though? And I was like, okay, all right, just putting it out there. There's a dad and then there's a daddy, and Dalinar is both. Well, he's one to Adolin and he's one to me. Okay, great. Blah. Next, let's talk about Shallan and Adolin, love this. So they are wrapping up at Lasting Integrity. They get the lore drop of the decade from the Herald Kalak. We find out that Mishram. I have to scroll. Mishram. There you go. They find out Mishram was sealed in the spiritual realm by Malishi. Her imprisonment is tangled up with slave form and the Dead Eyes. So they're flying home through Shadesmar. They are ambushed by Heavenly Ones. Adolin has this thing where he can just handle things. It's gorgeous to see. Mid-battle, they drown in all the beads. Shallan admits her deepest truth. She is afraid. She speaks the fourth ideal. Creation spren swarm around her and manifest as red shard plate. Now, this is really interesting. And if you're listening to the audiobook, it's delightful how the red shard plate communicates with Shallan. If you don't know, just so that you know now, Kate Reading does Shallan each time in like a childlike voice, and it's real cute. So I don't know for the readers if that's how you're hearing it, but that's how it's being delivered. And it's Shallan, like just wants to impress Shallan the whole time. Shallan's like, go over there. Shallan. So that's really cute. And we're learning more about the powers that they are unlocking each time, which I love. I think I've shared this with you big time. I love X-Men. I love that different people have different powers based on your personality types and traits. It's like Myers-Briggs for like on crack. And I love that. I love that. I love being sorted into houses. I love learning what radiant path you're on. Dig it big time. Now, adding on top of that more and more power, the more you level up, sick. It's video game shit. I love it. Having them not have a teacher or an aide and they're figuring it out by themselves, interesting. Seeing Shallan's defensive maneuvers and not being an offensive spellcaster, interesting. The fact that when she's in combat, she can split 3 different shapes and illusions of herself. The fact that she can become someone else. Like she's subterfuge city, and it's so interesting. I get a little nervous in combat because I'm like, you're not really slinging, spears around, are you? Kaladin's got the offensive magic. He's the one who can do all of that stuff. Doesn't want to. So it's interesting to kind of see and learn all about these powers. Jimmy says X-Men 97 debuted their 2nd season yesterday. 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes. 100. I know. Rogue Leader says, I didn't realize that I think that the audiobook narrators are married in real life. They are. So cute. KP Dubs is talking about the red shard plate, saying, I love the trap that the armor becomes. Yeah, you just get locked in, literally. You can't move when it's like put on you. You're like, I look great. Oh God. KP Dubs is saying, hey, guess what? They don't use tutorials either, Maud. All the cool kids don't. Just figure it out. Trial and error. You're going to be told what to do all through life? No, you got to figure it out, right? You just got to try it, learn. Learn the hard way, learn once, Alicia says, was there something about the creation spren being there after the shower scene? I thought that was hinting to her getting preggers. I was just, my jaw was on the floor that Brando Sando could write a bonk scene that I did not put 2 and 2 together. Because, of course, this is what they teach Americans in school. If you have sex, you will become pregnant. Guess what? Not how it works. Not how it works. There's something called ovulation, and each week is a different cycle for a woman, and only one of them is go time. I didn't learn that in high school either. I was a goddamn adult when I realized that. I was like, what do you mean just 1 week was a good week? No, we are all taught, you have sex, you get pregnant. Anyway, that makes sense if that's happening. That makes sense. Well observed, Alicia. Thank you for bringing that one to light. Looking over in TikTok right now. Oh, wow. There's a lot of conversation between two captains. We have two captains in the chat. What? Oh, they're saying that they love each other. That's really cute. I have no idea if you guys know each other. Oh, you are definitely flirting. I feel like I'm interrupting something now. What is... My captain, what is happening in here? Oh, you guys know each other. Okay, you guys know each other. I just thought I stumbled onto a tea party. Stargirl says, makes me think of Mean Girls. Don't have sex because you will get pregnant and die. Yeah, there you go. Academic says, hey, you can flirt with someone you know already. That's true. That's how you progress things if you want to. I found out I can't flirt during the day. Isn't that tragic? Anyway, I should not say shit like this when I'm broadcasting. Buh. I know, you guys are like, what do you mean, Maud? You can't have that weakness. It's true, I am flawed. All right, let's talk about some... Oh, the Azimir Oath Gates. Basically saying that they're going to announce and transport anyone, including the massive Singer army that Shallan spotted sailing Shadesmar towards Azimir. ... All right, interludes. We've got Kalak, Dalinar's trusted scout since Oathbringer is a ghost blood. Dun, dun, dun. Complete with a... I don't even know what a Sion is. A Sion named Allah. This is my research. I'm like, that sounds impressive. What does it mean? What's a Sion? Sion? Anyway. What's Allah? I don't know. They capture Kalak and Mishram's location is already winging its way to Kelsier and...
Sion is from another book, so you would get spoiled.
Got it.
So that's probably why nobody has said anything.
Cute. Awesome. Every time I'm like, what is that? You're like, okay. All right. We also have interlude 2 of the Divided God. This is Todium. God, he really just put a T on sodium, didn't he? He cradles a dying child in a war zone, feeling every ounce of suffering across the entire Rasharan system. Cultivation urges patience. She just nudges over the centuries about this patience. Cultivation is the nosy frickin' neighbor, isn't she? I would like to talk about cultivation right now, actually. What is her agenda? What's her deal? Cultivation comes and sees Dalinar being like, psst, by the way, you could probably become a god. Cultivation is with Taravangian. Cultivation is just sprinkling tea. Darren says she's a schemer. Academic says spoilers. Cultivation in my head, like she is, this is such a deep cut. In Marvel Rivals, there is the escort, the Groot looking thing. Cultivation is that in woman form. Kind of like in Elder Scrolls, the Spriggan? That's cultivation to me. What's her deal? I always thought she was a good one. Academic is just like, my lips are sealed. For anyone who doesn't know, what's her deal? What's Cultivation's agenda? What do we think is going on with her? The gods are involved and they're starting to pull the strings. All right, half the people are being like, I'm not saying. And the other half of people are being like, I've got no fucking clue. Yeah, okay. You're either one or the other. Great. I sit in the what the hell camp. I just don't know. I just don't know. Alicia says, I think her agenda is to replace the dead god, but that's Ishar's also trying to do that. He's like saying he's the almighty now, isn't he? Isha Herald. He's got the Delulu strong, saying, I am actually the new honor, god of honor. What's that one? Yeah, cultivation is who made Lift. Yeah, with a completely different set of rules of what it means to be a Radiant, different set of rules of how you absorb Stormlight. She's just going against the grain. Pun. Thank you, that was a good one. Darren says, cultivation made the Night Watcher who grants boons and curses. So cultivation's responsible for Taravangian. Cultivation's responsible for Dalinar doing the old pensive memory disappearo. Cultivation. For those that know cultivation, am I like cultivation? Should I like her or not like her? If cultivation bought me a drink in real life, would I sit down and have the drink with her? That's a loaded question. I understand that. Cool. You're right, Darren. Cultivation's also the one who did the curse/boon to Lift about staying, never growing up. All right, let's get stuck into day 2 because we've only got 45 minutes. I know that we're not really going to get into day 3 as much, but let's go over some key things. Are we ready to do this? Is this a completely different vibe now that I actually have notes and I'm staying on target? I feel like I'm talking a lot. Academic, did you have a question?
No question. I'm just commenting that you've been rolling very quickly, but we've only gotten through like the first
day.
5 chapters.
All right, let's go. Day 2, everyone's awoken in the night. The singers are invading Azamir through the Shadesmar Oathgate. A broken naval blockade means a 40,000 strong fleet is sailing for Thaylen City. Could not say that fast. Sailing for Thaylen City. Yes, I can. Never mind. Wow, I really shouldn't have just undermined myself and then immediately. But there's like another smaller force, but they're all fused, marching on the shattered plain. What is happening? Odium's battle scheme is rolling out. 3 capitals, 1 deadline. Wit also doesn't sleep very well. What does it mean? It means that he's like, wait, I can't account for 3 minutes and 27 seconds of memory. That memory is of a conversation with Odium, and worse, he's making me think that I outwitted him. Odium doesn't do that. He has slipped. A new personality has entered the chat, and he's like, something is amiss. I think that there's a loophole in that contract that will be exploited. So he does his little legal redlining and tries to figure out what is going on. There was a beautiful line of dialogue in here where Yasna felt brushed aside and that Wit constantly keeps her in the dark about a lot of things. And then she justifies it saying, well, you know, this is what happens when you try to date an immortal. I was like, Yasna, you're so badass. Inconceivable! You were so badass, Yasna. I love you. So basically, the loophole is that if you capture a capital, and by Alethi legal code, you capture the kingdom. The kingdom. So the old Odium wouldn't do this. This new Odium would. That means that Ray's is dead and a newer, smarter, bolder vessel holds the shard. The notes here say that Yasna is watching Wit panic in 3 magic systems at once. And she quietly grieves what he never shares with her. That was the moment I was talking about. I thought that was really kind of like a moment. The War Council splits the board so that Adolin takes 2,000 troops to hold Azamir with until they can wait for 40,000 reinforcements in under 5 days. Yasna takes 20,000 to Thaylen City. Sigzil and most of the Windrunners are going to fly to the Shattered Plains. There's a couple of like Dalinar being in charge, and what's the guy that starts with M and his name sounds deceptive? Mist.
Mink?
Mink! Yeah, come on. This guy's shady AF, no? He calls, and for my boon, you made me a promise. You swore me an oath, Dalinar. So in this moment of shit going down, I need you to honor your word and look out for my people. And Dalinar, no, what do you mean no, academic? Am I getting that all wrong? Do we like
You're
Mink?
right. I just want to know why you think he's shady.
His name's Mink.
Wow. Well, yeah, he's shady. To the
He's
bad
hiding
guys.
out. He's hiding out with Lift. He's sneaking. He wasn't invited to that meeting, and he snuck his way in.
As he should have been. He was the leader of her dad's, right? So he should have been there. I think it was shady for them not to invite him.
Okay. Okay. I don't have another argument behind that. I'm just like wondering what Lift's up to, because Lift got little Gav into trouble. We don't know what's going on there. I just feel like sometimes Brandon does not know what to do with Lift. Kind of inserts her into scenes sometimes, being like, oh, that's right, I've got to... Yeah,
I agree. Like there's the times where it feels like she's just there to like cause some chaos and add some levity. That's it. At times, I'm sure she'll be very important, but
look, when she shows up, she's just like, whoo. But
yeah, exactly.
Don't really know, and I think it's like an age discrepancy. I think it's like, just doesn't really know what to do. So yeah, all the pieces on the board are moving. Urithiru can empty its garrison because the tower light makes it hostile to Odium's forces. I love that. The tower is so supercharged that the fused can't function. They basically shut down when they enter the tower, which is like, whew, nice that that's taken care of. The Mink calls in his debt, takes 50 Windrunners to go liberate Herdaz, which we've just been talking about. Adolin and Dalinar's relationship stays icy. Adolin gets a temporary bondsmith connection so he can speak with Azish, and a precious little warmth to go with it. Cultivation herself corners Dalinar to beat Odium, seek the past. Enter the spiritual realm, learn what honor truly was, because honor's power is still out there seeking a new vessel. Poke, prod. And the thing I'm concerned about is Dalinar's tunnel vision. He is so short on time that this has been presented as an answer. It is now, to Dalinar, the answer. There is no other time to explore any other thing. He's putting all his eggs in this basket, and he's sort of forcing the path of becoming a god. What could go wrong? We talked about the fact that Shallan's scenes are very Bondish at the moment, not like Bond Smith. I mean James Bond. She's undercover on a mission. Dun, dun, dun. That's Mission Impossible. She's either Ethan Hunt or she's James Bond, but I'm loving it for her. Wit has all these sketches of the known Ghost Bloods. There's some, though, that are new. She goes to their hideout. Nurak begins an infiltration. There are no surges and no spren because the Ghost Bloods can screen for investiture with black sand. How cool is that? I feel like Shallan, etc., we're just talking about that. They're getting more and more powerful. They have powers. The Ghost Bloods can literally void that. They can sense it and it can out them, which means they're like evening the playing field again, which I think is really, really cool. And introducing new things like that. It's like, it's this power match, right? It's like, well, I've got powers. Yeah, well, I'm going to take them away from you. And you're like, oh, cool. I love all that stuff. Any questions? Academic said the Mink joined them only because of Dalinar's request. They're a tiny nation that's been constantly warred over and stepped on. It's important that Dalinar actually come to their aid, and if he's truly changing. Got it. Yeah. And honor is the most important thing to Dalinar. And Dalinar is literally trying to be the god of honor. So honor got to do what honor got to do. Captain Heather's saying, I love all the Cosmere connections, and said that Lift's point is the comic relief. Yeah, Lift learnt how to say shit. Good on her. Speech is liberty. Next. We have the side quest of Kaladin and Zeth going into Shinovar. The grass doesn't flinch. Zeth finally walks on soil again. Zeth's high spren scolds him for having feelings. So this is what's really interesting. We're finally starting to get sort of like Zeth's relationship with his spren and how different it is to Kaladin's relationship with his spren. So Syl is really encouraging, playful, like, you know, brings Kaladin sort of like a lot of lightness and sunshine. And it's just interesting hearing Zeth's spren calculate, say what's permittable and what's not, what's allowed and what's not, and constantly challenges Zeth to find the reason behind a lot of things. What do we think Zeth's spren's deal is? What's going on there? KP says, let us remember that Zeth and Cal are the first main characters we met. I feel that they are going to be the final answers to everything. So it is not a side quest. I'm just saying that because everything's going in different directions and there's like a huge thing happening here, and Dallina's like, go take care of that. And they're realizing that going and taking care of that is actually something that's a lot bigger than they initially thought. I will continue calling it a side quest.
I think they did mention specifically that like whatever they're doing is way more important than even what's happening. Yeah, it's literally way more than even what's going on with the Dalinar stuff. So easier, I guess it's like Cosmere level importance. I don't know. We'll see.
And Colleen is saying it's all of the side quests. Like it's the main quest.
Did you just ask something about like what's up with Zeth's spren?
Yeah.
It's almost like his spren is like another controller bossing Zeth around, telling him what to do, and Zeth almost was like, we've learned that since childhood, he doesn't want to make a decision. He just wants to be told what's right and what to do, and he's almost fallen into that same relationship, that same pattern with his spren.
So this is a really big thing about sort of personalities and what I learned in adulthood and why I get incredibly protective over some people. When you're a child and you're basically in a pretty dangerous relationship with authority figures where it's like they dictate terms, they basically threaten and scare you into being the right person. You can't step out of line. You're the one, or like maybe they're a failing parent and they have to step up to become a parent. There's a lot of pressure. They're having to grow up too fast. They were abused by their parents. Whatever it is, that can continue to sort of define who they are, where they've been taught to minimize conflict, to take on abuse, to not ruffle feathers further, and to never stand up for themselves. And, you know, I had to kind of understand that not everyone does have the benchmark, the blueprint of, you know, how to stand up for yourself. I learned something in a psychology book that basically said people kind of can have a victim mentality or an abuser mentality. And what will happen is people that are have the abuser mentality will attract people with a victim mentality. So they always usually pair up. And victims, like in relationships, are like, I keep dating bad guys, or I keep dating the wrong person, or I keep sort of like having people who are so horrible to me. And it's like, yeah, they're seeking you out because they know that, you know, you're not equipped to stand up. I have a couple of friends that had really terrible childhoods, and I noticed that people tend to like take out an anger or frustration on them, knowing that it will be absorbed by them and they won't be pushed back. And that's when I step in the path, the firing range, and I go, oh, I wouldn't do that. If you're happy to punch them, you can punch me first and we'll talk about it. And that's because I really, that's like a big thing for me where I always step in. Zeth in this regard has not only had sort of like, you're right, never equipped to make decisions, always wants to do the right thing. When he became, is it truthless? Sounds too close to toothless for a second there. He basically suspended all agency, all, he did everything that he was told to do no matter what. Now, he consciously and cognitively knows how bad it is, and he wears the pain of every action that he took, but he still did it, right? So he's got a lot that he has to process and deal with. But you're exactly right. He has been conditioned to obey order. He's told what to do. And I think that's a really good observation, KP, where even though he's no longer holding that stone that defines whoever holds it can tell him exactly what to do, even though that's not happening anymore, he has attracted a particular kind of spren. Your hand's up, KP, so I'm going to throw it back to you and then go to Vaden.
Well, just one more follow-up point that I think even drives us home more about Cal and Zeth being the main characters. This book is called Wind and Truth. Zeth is truthless. He's looking for truth. Cal is being spoken to by the wind that has been missing for millennia. They are going to find wind and truth at the end of this book.
Perfect. Sick. Love that. Totally went above my head. That's why you're here. Faden, what you got?
I was going to say the discussion about Zeth's being controlled by. So it's interesting because he had that discussion with the farmer when, and they told him, hey, or to ask him about what is right and what's wrong. The farmer says, hey, if you just follow directions, you don't do things on your own. You're basically like a creature. You're not really like you don't have intelligence. You don't have you're not really a person. You're like an object. Mm-hmm. So he's like an object that he's being used as a tool. And if you're just a tool, then you have no agency. Then it's in there. You've made the choice to become a tool, essentially.
That's the piece. You don't think that you've ever had a choice. You have always had a choice, and you have been choosing this path. And now you are choosing to feel the pain because you feel that you deserve it. But everything that's happened to this point has been a choice that he's made. And I think that that's a really hard thing for us to learn sometimes, where you're like, why is this happening to me? You got to own your part in it, Yeah,
there's only so much you can say. Like, I'm following orders. Following orders is going to get you so far. Yeah, obviously.
You can also not. You can try. You can not feel horrible for the things that you've done. You can forgive yourself. You can choose to not keep obeying orders senselessly. You can stand up for yourself. That is a choice, but people have to kind of learn that, and it's really scary when that's all you've ever known. Yeah. All right, so good conversations about Zeth's high spren. The end of day 2 wraps up. Dalinar and Navani attempt a controlled entry of the spiritual realm from Shadesmar. So this is like an all-in sort of thing. Navani nominated herself to help support Dalinar through that. And Dalinar's like, damn it, you are the only person that can do this. I wanted to protect you, but yeah, you actually need to be there. And she's like, haha. I really like their relationship. I feel like this is a really good example of a partnership where he sees her worth and value. He doesn't minimize her the way that Gavilar did at all. She is fucking badass in her own right. She's controlling the tower. She's bonded with the fucking sibling. This is like so cool. And then, Dalinar, who's teaching himself to read and write, because he doesn't want to be beholden to someone else having to do it for him, but he's also breaking these stereotypes. And there's still so many times where, you have to look at book 1 Dalinar, who's like, by the way, honor is dead, or like, he's basically corrupting or like saying the most blasphemous shit in it to religious people. And he's like, nah, this is actually what's happening, and I know it for sure. And everyone's like, you're a freak. And he's like, okay, but this is actually what's happening. People are now seeing him read, and they can't help but feel disgusted, literally uncomfortable watching a man read. And he doesn't care, because there's like so much more to what is needed in that moment than having to wait for a woman to read for him. Navani is a genius. She's literally the scientist, right? And it's so interesting, her relationship with the sibling as well, where it's like initially they forced Spren to stay in a lantern to keep it alight, and then siblings, like, they're screaming out, they are in pain, they don't want that. And then it's like, well, what if we get them to want it? What if we reward them? What if we pay them a living wage? It's all of these conversations where it's like, we don't have to own Spren. We can give them their own sense of, purpose, belonging, understanding. And if they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it. KP says, this is funny. Adolin is just like his father in this regard. He's fine with Shallan doing her thing, developing her powers. He takes it a step further with his not ex, May, putting her in charge of an archery platoon. The not ex, yeah. But he really admired her because she showed skills. He's like, dude, she could fire an arrow. It was awesome. Necrophoenix says, also Navani is a better bondsmith. Dalinar's brute forces good way through problems and uses his instincts to use his abilities, while Navani is actually trying to discover how things are done. Yeah, there's a difference between learning and forcing, for sure. Spren treats are compliments. Yeah, who would have thought you're doing a good job really actually worked? You're doing great. Recognition. Spren equals words of, what is it? Words.
Affirmation.
Yes, exactly it. A little word of affirmation goes a long way. Alicia says, it's interesting that Navani is the scientist, Yasna is the philosopher, and Shallan is the creative genius. I like the progression there from mentor to mentee. I love it too. Yasna's still got a little bit of a bee in her bonnet where like people shunned her for her atheist beliefs. Whereas they accepted Dalinar for literally rebuking a god. And it's like, she just never believed in the first place. The result's the same, but Dalinar's untouchable in that regard.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah. So the ghost blood sabotage happens. It's blown wide open. That was super gripping because like, is she going to get sprung? No, she passed the test. Oh, is she going to get sprung? Oh, yeah, no, shit went down. I really liked those moments of the book. Dalinar, Navani, and little Gavinar are ripped bodily into the spiritual realm. Wit saves Lift from the pool, and Light weaves her as Navani to hide the disappearance, but Lift's commitment to the snacks portion of the role is total. They didn't know that Gav was in there. Gav's an interesting one. He's like a poor thing. He's like a little broken doll. He's just seen way too much shit. I like that Gav has Lift because Lift's also seen some shit in her few years on Earth as well. And they're kind of bonding and helping through it. And like Lift is teaching Gav her ways, which is probably not the best. I'm surprised Gav's not obsessed with food because Lift's agenda the whole time is when's the next plate. He must be like, yeah, eating's awesome. That food looks delicious. But again, I don't really know if they know what they're doing with Gav at the same time. Did everyone forget that Gav's there? Yeah. Academic is saying, I think, Lift is such a fun big sister role for Gav. And Academic says, I think it speaks to two prejudices. That against someone who is clearly smarter than most people, rebuking convention, and woman, men. This is the whole, here we go. Definitely double standards when it comes to the Yasna and Dalinar heresy. Yeah. And Academic says, it's twofold. It's someone who's clearly smarter than most people, rebuking convention, and woman, man. There you go. I wanted to do that justice because it was a really good thought. The secret handshake that happens, and Lift finally teaches it to Windle. I realized Windle's name. It took me so long to get there. You know how I said that Todium is just sodium with a T? My mum's name is Windle, but with an L. So now I just think that Windle's my mum. Windle. There you go. Alicia says this is where we learn why Lift wants to stay a kid, about how she wants her parents, I think her mum, wants to be able to recognize her when she looks for her. Hold on, let's rephrase. Lift wants her mum to be able to recognize her. Such an adorably sad situation. Ugh. That's why she wants her to stay a kid. When do you think we'll come in touch with Lift's mum? Do you think that Lift's mum's still around? Or is it just a coping mechanism of being an orphan too young? Just not knowing, never having closure.
There was a moment when Lift was sort of thinking about that, and she says something to herself about like, I'm finally realizing, but Sanderson didn't really spell it out. So I'm like, is she accepting that her mom is dead? Or is she still holding out hope that her mom is not? I didn't really know the answer to that in the section.
I think she has to have hope. Otherwise, what's the point, Just trying to find her own little family. There's a really interesting development as well with the Kid Emperor. He had his name changed from what he was, right? He's now like 17 and ruling a nation, and Adolin just wants to train him with the sword. I like that little bro bonding moment too. That's fun. Mraize and Ethel seize their moment and slip into the spiritual realm, hunting. My God, I can't say Mraize and then the other M name and differentiate them. We'll just call her Bam. Shallan goes in after them with Renarin and R'lain swept into the pursuit. And then, yeah, a few people that had some, a couple of named air times gone. There was a little battle. And I really liked, again, that moment where it's like, what was Shallan's reasoning for it? How do you like slip in somewhere? You become the guards, and how that was used against her as well. I thought that was really, really good. We got 20 minutes. Any questions? I went from Gorks to Yanagon. Thank you, Vaden. That's right. Pianki says we might learn about Lift's mum in the flashback in Lift's book in the second half of the Stormlight Archives. That's right. Brandon Sanderson said that Lift was going to be a major key player in the second part of the archives. Academic, what you got?
I forgot that he mentioned that, but that's actually why I think that he keeps on mentioning Lift right now. It's not because she's super important now, but because she's going to be important later.
She will be. Yeah, because I think we're going to start getting bigger and bigger off-world. And something she's got going is not like the Stormlight on this world. She's got something that's happening otherworldly, I feel. I think cultivation isn't just a god for this place either. I don't know. I'll just wait to be told what to do. She doesn't use Stormlight for her powers. Exactly. That's why I don't think she's her powers are of this. She ain't built like the others. Something's up there. Her food cultivation's lifelight investiture is awesome. And then I go, awesome. And then I went unawesome and I got stuck. And Jimmy says the story's going to lift off the page. Okay, let's look at the interludes for this one. We've got Elle, the metal-adorned, rhythm-stripped fuse, strolls into the Kolinar vault and destroys the gemstone, imprisoning what's left of Jezreel's soul. All right, I guess he's done. Shit. A mercy killing of an old friend, since in Elle's view, the heralds enslaved his people and deserve annihilation. When Odium 2.0 confronts him, Elle calmly replies that he sees him. He knows the vessel has changed. Instead of punishment, Elle gets a promotion. Sick. Odium building his army and his right hand men, spren, you name it, fused. And then there's I4, interlude 4. Cultivation warns Todium that the path he's on is terrible. Begs him to listen to the part of himself that knows it, and he feels it, the grandfather, the grieving man, and then draws exactly the wrong conclusion. He's a god divided. Now, Todium is Teravangian Odium, just for those playing at home. Teravangian Odium, Todium. That's when I say Todium. Teravangian Odium. Good. So what he's going to do now is, since he's a god divided, he's going to let each of them rule in turn. So his rotating personalities have got like new rules, I guess. He surveys the wider cosmere and its shards like a man reading a chessboard. God, the whole thing's a bloody chessboard, and you can see the pieces moving. Are we ready to go into day 3, or do we have any interlude questions? The fact that Todium is not listening to cultivation and cultivation has no power over him. Concerning. The fact that this is someone who used to have a little bit of compassion, depending on which version you got, not being like that anymore. Concerning. Alrighty. Day 3, let's go. Adolin is in Azamir. He arrives via the Oath Gate into the great bronze dome that the Aegis built around it. Now, that was really interesting when they're doing their scheming, where it's like, that dome is good to hold. You do not need as many protecting it because it is a dome. My brain was thinking about that, like, you know, Westeros when Game of Thrones, where it takes you around sort of like the whole city and how it all looks. I was like trying to do that in my brain, and I'm like, this is a dome? How is that going to help? Well, why is that a defense? It's a dome. You get in there, you're in there. But anyway, and then I missed whatever happened in the paragraph after that because I was like, but it's a dome. I'm like, what? Is the dome got spikes? That doesn't make sense. Anyway, there's a bronze dome. The whole war for Azir now funnels through one room. The Commandant Supreme, Kushkum, openly distrusts the Alethi Prince's motives. And then the first Singer assault comes through the Oath Gate and is repelled. I like watching battle through Adolin and Maya's points of view. I like them teamed up. I like Maya having more, more of an understanding, and it's kind of giving. Oh my god! It's kind of giving. If anyone can get it before I pull the books. Golden Compass. When you had your little tethered animal to you and you both kind of can communicate telepathically to each other. It's kind of like that again that I feel. But I really like that Maya is becoming an asset, but because she's a Deadeye, she can only see what Adolin sees and then report back. She can't she's not fully functioning like Syl. Syl, who also is a god of an Ancient One. She is an Ancient One. She's an Ancient One. She's so powerful, right? She's so in love with Kaladin, right? Like, down bad, but Ancient One. So Kaladin's going to become a god, and then they're going to get their god on. Shower 2.0. One can hope. Necro says, my favorite moment in the Adolin moments, and that was responding to, I loved when she decided to go get help. Yeah, because she can. Because she can. I love that. She's an asset. She was always awesome. I love that she calls him kid. I love that that's their dynamic. We didn't know this whole time. She's like, all right, little one. Okay, kid. I love that. Syl is Honor's daughter. So sibling is her cousin. Yeah, that makes sense. Syl was in the tower for a lot of Rhythm of War, though. Did they communicate? Were they on talking terms? I cannot remember. Heather says, I hope they get their god on. Oh my god. KP says, Maya's like 6 millennia old, so Adolin is a kid. Yeah, but I like that that's their dynamic because he's secure enough to be totally okay with it without feeling any sort of emasculation that doesn't exist. You know? Maybe Syl will ascend to become Honor. Or that's why Syl chose Kaladin. Because Kaladin's been handpicked to become Honor. Is my guess. But Dalinar's like, it's gotta be me. But he's the Stormfather, so why ain't the wind talking to him? We got... Oh, my eye's twitching. We love that for me. Yes. Adolin lets Maya and the troops celebrate while he builds bridges. By the day's end, he and Kushkum reach an understanding, and his mentorship of the young Emperor. Yep. Yanagon deepens. Love those moments. Zeth's pilgrimage begins. Kaladin and Zeth visit Zeth's abandoned childhood home. Shinovar is visibly sick. Something's deeply wrong with the land. Something's deeply wrong with the people that are there. I have a couple of questions about Zeth's people. Are they nomadic or are they more native? How would you describe Shinovar and Zeth's people? Because they have, like, you can't walk on stone. They do have soldiers. You think nomadic, Jimmy? But they were moving the rock. There was sediment around the rock. Thank you, Avery.
I don't think they're nomadic.
They just live in small villages, says Smekid. They never leave Shinovar, so they can't be nomadic. Okay. Is there a sense, though, that they are native to that area and that land? Kind of like what the fused, they're not all fused. The listeners, what the listeners have been experiencing.
I think they're native to that land at this point, but I don't think they were original inhabitants of Roshar. Also, their religion is so restricted.
Yep.
It's and I think that really formed Zeth as.
But it's exclusive to Zeth a little bit. Like his parents have a more of a leeway with it, where it's like, hey, this rock's going to benefit us, so we're just going to bend the rules. And Zeth's just like, we cannot break rules. So it's a bit of a Zeth thing, but yes, it is also growing up with a very strict sort of like religious demands. So something's deeply wrong with the land. They reach the first of the 10 monasteries and town, the Stonewood Monastery. Zeth then duels with the honor bearer there, Rit. Now, Rit, this feels like a god battle. I'm not a god battle, a boss battle. This is giving big boss battle energy where he goes home, realizes something wrong, and like Rit blinks the wrong way or some shit. Or like her eyes flash a different color and they're like, there's something wrong with Rit. And Rit's just like, where's your honor blade? And he's like, oh, shit. But then Rit is just like, gotta kill ya. And then they battle it out. And Kaladin can't believe that Zeth kills Rit. But it's kind of apparent and spelled out that Rit has been taken over by the Unmade there. Yeah? That's not news. She was corrupted. She wields cohesion and tension, and these are surges that he's never faced. This is also feels like a Avatar: The Last Airbender. Zeth, bald, can summon a bunch of things, goes up against the Earth Kingdom's boss. So now we're in Avatar: The Last Airbender territory because we've got everything else in here at this stage, and they're all cool, and they're all bubbling in this little pot together. So yeah, that was like the Earth Kingdom boss battle where Zeth is like, I'm the only airbender left, but you gotta do what I gotta do. Anyway, kills her, claims the first honor blade. The locals greet him with gratitude. One monastery down and the cleansing of Shinovar has begun. We also get some Zeth flashbacks. Young Zeth, son of shepherds. His father is Naturo. I mean, we don't have a Naturo, thing in here, so let's shoehorn it as well, so we get all of our favorites in. His beloved half-blind sheep, Molly, so cute, and he just wants to dance. He's like little Billy Elliot. I just want to dance. Sorry. Stonewalker raiders threaten the valley, and Zeth begs the farmer, their leader, to just tell him what is right and wrong. The farmer answers that people, unlike animals, must choose for themselves. And Zeth is just like, does not compute. Molly goes missing. Zeth walks into the night to find her. Meanwhile, in the spiritual realm, Dalinar comes to floating, having lost an entire day, and we don't have days to lose here. His connection to the tower is severed, and every time he closes his eyes, he's drowning in visions of his own past. He starts learning to steer and aiming for the moment that humankind first arrived on Roshar. Navani and Gavanor are in there with him. Am I going too far? Should we kind of like chill out a little bit? Too far? Did we get the interludes?
We haven't seen them in we have not seen them in the spiritual realm at all yet to this point.
Dalinar and Navani, yes you have. Well, they entered it.
To day 4.
They entered it.
Right, but they haven't seen it. We haven't seen anything to this point in the book, unless I missed a chapter.
No, we have it so that Wit came in and rescued Lift. That was kind of like the last thing that he happened in there. The interludes are still a little bit weird. One of them's about Taravangian Odium, and another one is about a guy called Baxel. Sometimes these interludes, I'm like, who? Doing what? In where? And I just like, I know it'll make sense eventually, but like, they're just words. They're just words. let's talk about some theories. We've spoken about cultivation and not knowing what's going on. Heather makes a really good point. All the good fighters are good dancers. You gotta move. You gotta move. Do we talk about the Stormfather feeling Canarak die the same night that Gavilar does? Too much? Too far? Okay. Gavilar's true plan being revealed. I mean, that's something that we can talk about because it was super early on and we're like, what? Gav? Why? He wants to become a herald. Trying desperately to figure out what the words are so that he can kind of coalesce and evolve, taking some shortcuts, super hungry for power. What else we got? Oh yeah, what is the wind speaking to Kaladin? It's a feminine presence on the wind calling Kaladin by name, begging for help. It's giving, help me Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. The worst storm is still coming. And then still later identifies the tune that Wit teaches Kaladin as the ancient song that humanity followed from Ashen to Rashar. So do we want to look into that theory? Or should we wait? Yeah, this kind of gives the answers. How do we feel that Shallan's in her fourth ideal? Kaladin's in his fourth as well, yeah? He got the fourth at the end of Rhythm of War. Now Shallan has. Yasna, I feel like, has been in it for a while because she had that fight scene in freaking Oathbringer where you're just like, good Lord. She out here moving kingdoms. Literally. Zeth is in his fourth. Zeth Sanvalano. Okay. I can't believe I think I hit everything in time. What? What do we feel about the fact that Jezreel's soul is no longer? The fact that now, I mean, we've had the Ghost Bloods create the Void crystal, wasn't it? So, like, it was going to shoot the Void Bolt into Shallan and can basically kill Spren. They can stop Radiance. And now they can kill Heralds. How are we feeling about this? Darian, your hands up.
Just a question with Jezreel. Like, his soul is trapped in this crystal.
Was.
So, is he... So they destroy the crystal? Like, yep. Because... So they can trap his body, but they trapped his soul.
Yeah, they can trap a Herald, and now we've seen that you can now destroy what's in there. Now, El did it saying it was doing a favor. But basically things that were unstoppable and untouchable can be stopped and touched.
Okay. And just question, what ideal is Dalinar on? Because we said like everybody's like basically on their fourth.
He about to ascend into godhood. So I don't know what that one is. He unlocked his bondsmithing in Oathbringer because he had to heal his past. That's a great question, though. Yeah. What ideal is Dalinar on at the moment? Academic? Let me look it up.
Has he even sworn any ideals other than the first? I feel like bondsmiths have different rules.
I feel like the sibling being bonded with Navani, she just skyrocketed. And Dalinar's kind of just had visions and the Stormfather keeps talking to him. But like the Stormfather and his relationship is kind of detached. It's like a stepfather. I guess you're my son, but I don't really know what to do with you. Okay.
I mean, the Stormfather's been like, I guess you would say Gavilar really ruined the entire Cullen household in the eyes of the Stormfather, right? Who was already like, no humans, thank you, so...
Yeah. Avery makes a really great point as well, saying that Dalinar just bullies the Stormfather. He does. He's like, I know you're not supposed to do it, but you should do it now on my terms.
Well, Yeah. Well, also he's here from cultivation. You need to see more. And his Stormfather's like, there is more. I don't want to show you because reasons.
Yeah. Smekid says, Necrophoenix says Dalinar is on the third ideal. And I looked it up just as a refresher. Dalinar has spoken 3 oaths. He's a third ideal bondsmith. The first ideal was the one that everybody shares, life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. The second ideal for him was I will unite instead of divide, spoken way back at the end of Words of Radiance when he first bonded the Stormfather. And then the third ideal was from Oathbringer, the climax with Thalen, the field there, taking responsibility for what is done and the vow that if he must fall, he will rise each time a better man. Bondsmith oaths are a little bit squishier though than the Windrunner's like neat little ladder of 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's what Smekid was saying. Bondsmith, they might be different. They are a little bit different here. The Bondsmiths and the Stormfather being cagey about everything. Nobody in World seems certain about how many ideals that order has or what the path forward looks like, which is kind of relevant to a man currently lost in the spiritual realm trying to learn what honor actually was. What the hell's going on with cultivation, whispering that honor's power is out there looking for a new home. All right, your homework. You have 2 weeks to read the next chunk of the book. The next chunk of the book is up to page 416 to 881. Just a cheeky 65 pages. I don't know where that's going to stop, though. I did find it out, so let me go through my schedule here. Okay, yeah, we're stopping at day 8 next. So by the time we get to, we're doing 4 more days. Well, 5, 6, 7. No, we're doing 3 more days. We're doing day 5, day 6, and day 7. We are stopping at day 8, which is page 881 in the books, but we are stopping at day 8. So let's do, day 4, 5, 6, 7. Thank you. So we are still doing 4. Yeah, we did 1, 2, 3, and now we're doing 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it's 8 and the rest. 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do it, team. On 3. Wind and truth. Woo! How do we feel about that recap? How are we feeling about it all?
Do it. I think it's super helpful. Like, there's too much stuff going on to remember what's going on. So I think going over all, even though it's going over a lot, it's very helpful. I appreciate it, at least.
It helped for sure.
Alrighty, and I will keep trying to get some questions in. I've actually got some other character and theme questions in here. I feel like we did touch upon a lot of these. Kaladin spends day 1 saying goodbye to everyone. His family, Bridge 4, his old identity. Sandon usually breaks Kaladin by Act 2. Do you trust this happiness? The farmer telling young Zeth that being a person means choosing right or wrong for yourself. Zeth hates it. How does that one childhood conversation explain literally everything from the Oathstone to the Skybreakers? Is Zeth's pilgrimage his first truly free choice? Number 3, Kaladin's a therapist. We did speak about this. Dalinar essentially prescribes a road trip for Zeth's mental health. Is Heal This Assassin a fair mission to hand to Kaladin, and is helping others how Kaladin heals or how he avoids healing? He's projecting. Adolin's furious at Dalinar, and the texts let him be. The text, sorry. Everything about it's like, yeah, he's staying mad. Navani's like, talk it out. No, he'll come to me. He won't even listen to me, even if I do. Blah, 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 blah. Whose side are you on in the Cold War?
Adolin.
Adolin, for sure. It's not even close.
He only murdered Sadius. He didn't murder his mom.
Yeah. Dalinar asked Kaladin to be his heir. Genius succession planning, or is it a king outsourcing his conscience? Would King Kaladin actually be any good at it? I think so. Adolin would be better. Sorry, I think Adolin would make a better king. He just doesn't want to do it.
I think you're right, but yeah, he doesn't. Yeah.
I don't know. I reckon Adolin could have a change of heart, or he hates his dad so much that he wants to like make right the wrongs. Maybe. Darian.
Oh, the thing I was getting to, as you said about King Kaladin, was Gavilar was actively seeking power and he wasn't deserving of it. Kaladin is the kind of guy who he doesn't want power.
Which is sometimes the best leader.
It's like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like the best people suited for leadership, but he wants one not seeking power, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Last one we got here. Scylla's human-sized. She's colorful. She's learning to write. She's claiming she's got knees. What does her growth say about Spren personhood? How are we feeling about where this is going? Next question. Bow chicka wow wow. She also has a chul. Yasna wants a world without kings, says Colleen. Toastboast says, I vote for Yasna too. Yeah, Yasna's great. Yasna asks the uncomfortable questions. She will ask the thing that people are avoiding or feel uncomfortable being voiced aloud. And she's like, no one's going here. We need to explore every part of this. And so, yeah, we need to talk about the fact that should we send Odium back into the Cosmere? Like, does he have to be our problem? And everyone's like, ooh. She was like, what? We got to look out for us as well. What the fuck? We're not getting help from anyone. Why should we help? Why should we bear this entire burden? She ain't wrong. She ain't wrong. She's like, yeah, nah. Alrighty. Go forth and read, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Part 1 out of 3 of Wind and Truth, the breakdowns, the discussions. Kev's Collectibles just heading in to the TikTok. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me, not only in the YouTube, but on TikTok and on Twitch. 2 weeks. This time next week, I'll be at Lit RPG Con. And then we'll meet back here. And then I go off to San Diego Comic-Con. And then we meet back here. I'm already tired thinking about it. It's going to be so much fun. I'll see you in the Discord if you're not in there already. Congratulations again to Katie for winning Platform Decay. Yay. Thanks, everyone. You're amazing. KP, I know what I'm going to give you. Wait. Sorry, that's the US.
Is it Star Wars related? Maybe a ship book? Possibly.
We'll find out.
Yes.
Does it have some kind of secret history of naval ships that you don't know about?
World War II naval.
Her great-grandfather's autographed obituary or something?
Would you like these, thanks to Athon? They are...
Yes. The little comic book versions?
The Dungeon Crawler Carl graphic novels, thanks to Athon and Matt Dinnerman's graphic novels.
Oh, yeah.
Done!
New achievement!
Winner, chicken dinner! Awesome!
Wait, they want chicken dinner?
Jason's done his entire flight in that time. Right in the nugget. All right, everyone. I'm going to try hang around while we go offline so I can raid into another group on Twitch. But for